Kids who are always good. Is it really the good as you think? Good child syndrome. Have you ever wondered if those kids who are always well-behaved and obedient are truly happy and developing in a healthy way? Let's dive into the good child syndrome, a phenomenon where children constantly try to please adults. But it might come with some negative consequences for their growth. Main points. The good child syndrome happens when kids always strive to meet their parents' expectations. But this can harm their development. Parents need to learn to accept and respect their children's individuality, allowing them to build their own identity. What is the good child syndrome? Picture a child who always listens, never argues, and does everything their parents ask. Sounds like the perfect kid, right? But behind that flawless exterior, there might be a psychological issue called the good child syndrome. It's when kids feel pressured to constantly meet their parents' every expectation, becoming an angel in their eyes. These children often worry about how to keep their parents' love and attention, believing that any misbehavior will lead to criticism or loss of affection. Their minds are always busy thinking about how to try their hardest to earn approval from the adults around them. Causes and consequences. So, what makes a child become overly good like this? It often starts with how parents raise them. Kids labeled as good might seem happy at first, but in reality, they tend to hide their true feelings because they're too busy trying to live up to their parents' expectations. When parents show conditional love, meaning they only show affection when the child behaves well, kids start to realize that to be loved, they have to be absolutely perfect. This traps them in their parents' good list, steering clear of anything that might cause trouble. As a result, they often miss out on natural developmental stages like toddler tantrums, teenage rebellion, or youthful defiance, sometimes even losing the dreamy childhood they deserve. But the consequences go deeper than that. The danger of the good child syndrome, sometimes called the perfect child syndrome, is that it forces kids to suppress their true selves and emotions, even keeping secrets from their parents. These children are often more vulnerable to abuse because they don't dare stand up for themselves, which can lead to pent-up anger deep inside. Sadly, the pressure to meet others' expectations can follow them into adulthood, turning into what's known as the good adult syndrome, continuing for a lifetime. Some kids might even withdraw from social situations, fearing they're not good enough. They're always trying to please everyone, and if the crowd isn't happy, they can spiral into disappointment and anxiety, worrying that their ideas or opinions aren't valuable. They shy away from disagreement, prefer to follow others, and fear standing up for themselves because of potential backlash. On top of that, these kids might show other psychological signs, like stress, exhaustion, shortness of breath, or a racing heart, physical clues that their minds are under heavy strain. So, families, friends, and teachers need to watch out for overly good behavior and dig deeper to see what's really going on. How to overcome the good child syndrome. If you notice your child showing signs of the good child syndrome, don't worry, there are ways to help them break free from this pressure. The first step is to change how you communicate with them. Instead of yelling or overreacting when they mess up, try talking to them in a friendly, calm way. This helps them relax and realize that making mistakes is normal. If parents react too harshly, it can hurt the child even more, pushing them deeper into the syndrome and making their life feel heavier. Now, if you're someone who grew up with the good child syndrome and carried it into adulthood, it's time to take charge of your own life. Learn to set personal boundaries. Let others know how you want to be treated. This not only helps you manage your relationships but also lets you choose who to connect with, keeping people from crossing your limits. Finally, keep in mind that many behaviors tied to the good child syndrome stem from overly strict discipline from parents. So, if you're a parent, Try accepting and respecting your child's unique personality, giving them room to develop their own identity. Encourage them to share their thoughts and feelings, and create a space where they can grow naturally. That's the key to raising kids who aren't just good, but also happy and confident in life. The good child syndrome isn't always the wonderful thing it seems on the surface. Understanding it and adjusting how we parent can help kids grow up strong, both physically and emotionally. What do you think about this? Give these tips a try to nurture a generation of confident, joyful kids.